Hi Internet, I'm Tango, and these are Tango's takes. And the take for today actually took a bit to put together. And honestly, I'm actually recording this one a week in advance so I don't lose my train of thought. I'd had a few ideas for today's take, and none of them are really settling the way I want it. They wouldn't lock in really. I like them and I could have done something on them, but I probably wouldn't have been as happy with the take as other takes. And I was killing time this morning by watching videos on YouTube, and for some reason on my laptop, I'm recording on the desktop right now, on my laptop, when I'm watching YouTube, the next recommended video or the next video in a playlist automatically plays. It doesn't do it on my desktop, and you'd think that setting would follow the account and not the device. I finished watching a video on the top moments in Disney animation, no, just in Disney stuff for like the past 10 years, like best moment of each year, something along that lines. And it should not surprise anyone that the one for 2021 is We Don't Talk About Bruno. But the next video started as I was letting my thoughts settle, and the next video was the top 20 musical finales of all time. Now, I'll be honest, some of them I'd never heard of. Some of them I didn't realize were musicals. And then we hit number 2. Number 2 is a musical I have seen once because it became available to see online in its unedited version for a very short time during the pandemic. And it's still available, but with a lot of censoring. Today's take is, according to the Miss Mojo website I was watching, the number 2 musical finale of all time. It's the final song from Hamilton, and that take is Who Lives, Who Dies, Who Tells Your Story? Now, in the context of Hamilton, this is about after you're gone, who lives, who dies, who tells your story. Because guess what you have no control over once you're dead? And that's absolutely fair. That is a realization some people don't have even when they've seen some impressive evidence to support that. But with today's take, I want to take that a bit farther. While you're live and functioning in the world, you don't always have a lot of control over who lives, who dies, and tells your story. And to be honest, you should think about that when you make decisions. Not just the big obvious decisions where your decision will impact who lives and who dies. Because most decisions we make in a day don't impact who lives and who dies. I believe that if you make a decision impacting who lives and who dies, you should make the decision to save as much life as possible. And if you have to pick someone to die, that decision should be made upon this person taking an action that will result in their death will save as much life as possible. Because that is a far better decision to have told a story about, for someone else to tell a story about, than they let them die because they didn't like them. But that said, I did a take last year, and I'm going to have to go back and find it because I want to find the quote again, about not living, if you don't want people to celebrate your death, don't live a life that people want to see done. It's completely common for people to mourn when someone they love or care about or inspire them passes. And when someone you don't know passes, you don't feel guilty about not mourning. But to be the kind of person who your passing results in people celebrating the end of your life, as opposed to people mourning by celebrating what you accomplished in life, to literally celebrate the end of your life because the harm you brought them or those you care about was so great that they are grateful that you can no longer directly bring about it. You've likely had influence on someone who can and will, but we can still change them. But your ability to create new influences, gone. Those people don't think about who's going to live, who's going to die, and who is going to tell their story once they're gone. Now, first time I went through this take in my head, I was ready to name names. And I'm really tempted to. So let me put it this way. I live in the United States of America. We have a really flawed political system. But only one of the political parties tends to aggressively pursue policies that would make the fact that I am a gay man or that I have transgendered friends and non-binary friends and other friends who are not straight, I have friends who are in relationships that are not just one-on-one or might be open. They want to make those illegal because they don't like those things, because they were raised to believe they were wrong or immoral, whether or not the people around them do. They don't understand that those things don't impact them. What if a guy hits on me? Look, no one wants to hit on you. You're obnoxious. Now, if they don't know that and they hit on you, and this is assuming that you are a person who's not interested in guys. If a guy hits on you and you're not interested in guys, the polite thing is going, I'm sorry. You seem like a good... let's assume that you know something about the person. Let's assume that's something you know about the person. You can reply, I'm sorry, you're a good person, but I'm not interested in you that way. And a reasonable person will move on. Now, I acknowledge that there is plenty of evidence in the world for unreasonable people. But if we normalize the rejection, then we improve the world. We make people see that rejection is acceptable, and the rejection doesn't result in someone deciding who lives and who dies. Because once they make that decision based upon a rejection, the rest of us will tell their story and it won't be good. So as you move through your life, look at me getting back on topic. Periodically, if you have time to think about a decision, and maybe it's even a minor seeming decision, think about how it impacts who lives, who dies, and who tells your story. How is it going to impact the story when someone tells your life later on? Tells the story of your life later on. As Dinobot in Beast Wars said, when his spark went offline, tell my tale to those who ask. Tell it truly, the good deeds along with the ill. Dinobot had a dark past. And you can't redeem that. You don't change that. But you live a better life and you become accepted as a hero, as a good person who does the right thing. And had we ever seen the stories of Cybertron in the future after Beast Wars and Beast Machines? Somewhere is some teacher telling Dinobot's story and using his story as a lesson. Not just about who lives, who dies, and who tells your story, but about personal transformation. Stay safe and healthy out there, folks, and I'll catch you all next time.